Hello? That girl, oh, here comes that rainy day feeling again. She'll be feeling like rain. It always seems to be a Monday. Always it's a Sunday. Always with you. And with all the sunshine, and comes that rainy day feeling again. Here comes that rainy day feeling again. That rainy day feeling again. Well, how about you? You like that rainy day feeling? I love that song. I love all rain songs. They just have an effect on me. I like them. Anyway, that was my introductory little song there. Let me take that off now. So, yes, I'm doing some more survival teaching videos. Restaurants. Oh, everybody likes to go out and eat, don't they? Well, did you know that can be a problem for transgender people? Not always, but it can. And it can bite you in the ass real fast, depending on where you go to eat. And are you going to go by yourself, or are you going to go with one other person, or are you going to go with a crowd of girls, trans girls? Yes, trans girls. Like, a PFLAG meeting or transgender group meeting or something like that. Well, just make sure. Now, if you're going to have a meeting like that, and maybe play a few little board games at the meeting, you might want to get some. I mean, now I'm not advertising for anybody. What I'm saying is, you need to make sure you're in a safe zone. Now, to do that, all right, we'll go with the party scenario of a transgender group having their monthly meeting. Pick you a restaurant that's agreeable to it. That means you got to check with the manager. Okay, and be honest with him. Tell him what kind of meeting you're having and all that kind of stuff, because you want his support. Now, there are things that a private-owned mom and pop type restaurant, they don't have to obey anybody's rules. It's their show. It's their place of business. Now, if you're dealing with something like Shoney's, or I don't know if they still have Bob's Burger. I don't know if that still exists. But if it's like Shoney's or Cracker Barrel or Perkins or something, and if they have a closed off area where they can make you a meeting room, well, here's the good thing about a chain. And you know what I mean by chain. That's a chain of restaurants. They have rules. From their hometown where they got started, they have rules. And managers of these restaurants across the country have to obey those rules. They have to know what they are and enforce those rules. Now, if you get that far with it and you like that, Cracker Barrel, Perkins, there's Bob Evans, there's others, you're sort of protected a lot better, because home office has already told them what they will do. Got TGI Fridays and Tuesdays and places like that. The managers of these restaurants already know what is allowed and what's not allowed, and how customers are to be treated under all circumstances. So you have a measure of protection there. That manager's not going to let other people come harass you and upset you and foul up your nice little event you had planned. And especially if you've made arrangements with him beforehand and he knows you're coming, or she knows you're coming, and they've set it up for you, and things are going to go smooth in most cases. There's no way anything would go bad. Now, that's up to you to plan in advance and give the right people the right notice to set it up for you and make sure, you're catered to and so forth. Now, and don't forget to tip. And I don't mean 50 cents or $1. Okay, I'm going to put it to you this way because I've been there and done that. And I've seen transgender women sit right beside me. And when it come time to leave the table, they didn't leave a thing. Not one penny. So I just turned around and left a $5 bill there, or more, $7, to try to cover for what they didn't do. Now that wasn't embarrassing to me. Hell, I just did it because you can't expect people to wait on tables and run their ass off for you, which they were doing. They were running back and forth getting stuff every few minutes for us. You can't expect them to do that just on their minimum wage. I mean, that's what the service industry is built on, is tips. If you can't tip, then you shouldn't be eating. You shouldn't even be taking a glass of water from them if you're not able or want to tip them. Or I guess you could sit beside somebody like me who will tip them for you to try to make up for it. Now, that's not the proper way, but I will do it because waitresses, their time is valuable too, just like yours. So, put yourself in the other person's shoes. And I mentioned transgender women in this group, but there's a lot of people that they won't tip. And that's kind of antisocial in our society. If you don't tip, then you're saying, well, I deserve it. You need to do it for me. Okay. If that's your attitude, it'll backfire on you someday, but whatever, if that's the way you're going to operate. Now, there are things about restaurants. There's pressures on these girls that wait on you that you don't know about. And I'm going to call out some stuff that happens to them that you are totally unaware of unless you've worked in one of these situations. A lot of these steakhouses and other places, they like to hire these young college girls because the managers work late at night. Usually, I mean, most steakhouses close around 10 for sure, but they're there later cleaning up, and they hire girls from college that are earning their way through, and they figure they can get quick, cheap sex out of these girls, like blowjobs. Now, I'm not going to say which steakhouses because I don't want them coming down on me saying prove it. But I've worked at steakhouses and I know how they do. I haven't just heard it, I've seen it, how they work. And their managers, I guess they think they deserve it because they're so many hours long and they just need some help somehow or other. Won't you please help me with this deck down here between my legs? Stuff like that. Well, I don't know. I ain't saying every one of them do it. But I'm telling you, that's some of what the waitresses have to put up with after, well, whatever. You know, that a lot of them are expected to replenish the straw holders and salt shakers, pepper shakers, and rewrap the utensils and napkins. They're supposed to stay there and do all that. Well, they do other stuff too. So you cut them some slack. Realize they don't live in a perfect world just like you don't. And there's a lot that goes into that restaurant business. Now I mentioned the mom and pop stores. A mom and pop operation, all right, here's something you need to keep in mind with them. Now they may like they may be accepting of your group, okay? And but they're under no legal obligation to protect you. You see what I mean? You got your future in your hands when you march in there and say, I want to eat. And I don't care if it's for a party like I was just describing, or if it's just you and a shopping buddy that went out to eat. I was told one time, because you see this outfit that I'm wearing, I'm going to stand up so you can get a better look. I was wearing this to a restaurant one time. And it's kind of short. I'm not going to pull it all the way up, but it's like 3 inches above the knee. And this manager of the restaurant kept trying to look under my dress the whole time I was sitting around in there. And when I got up to go to the ladies' room, I don't know. I didn't see him at that point. I wasn't watching for him. Anyway, after I came back from the ladies' room, he asked me if I would not use the ladies' room anymore. And I said, well, why? I said, only one person can get in there at one time anyway. It's just a one-stall event. And he said, well, for the psychological benefit of the other customers, I would prefer it if you didn't. I said, well, okay, how about if I just don't come back? That way neither of us will have to worry about it. And then he turned hostile on me. He said, well, yeah, that works. Just don't come back. Now, this is the manager. And the manager just told me not to come back. It's a mom and pop restaurant. Now, if it'd been a chain, and I've already mentioned to you who the chains are, if it'd been from a chain restaurant that did that, I might pursue it a lot further. But with it being a mom and pop, and knowing how the sheriff's departments work, now listen to me, because I'm not going to steer you wrong here. Once that business owner tells you not to come back to his property, that's signed, sealed, and delivered right there. Don't you go back. And don't you stand there and fight and argue with him about it either. Because he can call the cops right then, and from that event on, you are trespassing. Hmm. Well, I know that ain't cool, and you didn't ask for it. But that's our history as it is right now in this country. The business owner makes the rules. And if he don't want you on his property, you better leave, or you're going to see a deputy's car pull up in a few minutes, or a city car, and they're going to come in and ask what's the problem. So most trans people don't really want the cops involved in their life. I don't. I mean, it's a terrible inconvenience, even if you're in the right. Even if you're we're all just trying to make it through the day, aren't we? We're just trying to get through a lunch and then trying to get through the afternoon. Well, you don't really want that kind of stuff going on to ruin your day, so to speak. So just leave it alone. If he tells you to leave right away. Pay your bill, pay up, and get out. So, and remember, that's not the waitress's fault. You should still go ahead and leave her a nice tip. She didn't set up that event. The manager did. That's his fault, not hers. Now, I know I'm talking stuff most of you probably already know, but we have some out here who don't know. I'm talking to you. And some of you, the transgender girls that I know and have met and have been out to eat with, you think the world owes you something. Well, they don't owe you nothing any more than they owe a street person something. They don't owe him a free cup of coffee. Now, if they give him one, then that's on them. That's not your decision. That's not for you to even make up whether they should or shouldn't, because it's their life and they're living it. You just live yours. You just be sweet to everybody and be nice. Don't cost you a dime to be nice to everybody. That's one of my little mottos. It don't cost you a dime to be nice. Now, if you get to the point where the sheriff shows up because you didn't want to leave when the business owner told you to, the business owner can tell him that he told you to leave and you didn't want to. At that point, that becomes trespassing. Yes, you can be put in the back of the patrol car and taken in because you didn't leave when he asked you to. Okay, I just want to make sure that you understand these things, because it's all technicalities. And you mess up one little part of it and you go to jail. And then you sit there and think, well, I was just voicing my opinion. Well, your opinion didn't matter at that point. He had already asked you to leave and you didn't leave. Okay? Law enforcement officers, they operate on this happened, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened. And this led to this, and this led to that, and so hit somebody. And there is a bruise on the face to prove it. Yes, a bruise or a black eye. Which means that's all they're looking for, is some evidence that something happened. So don't give it a chance. Just don't go there. That's the easiest way to put it. Don't go there. Anyway, you really do need to pick your fights. You just can't hop into everything that happens and expect to win every little thing, because life is not that way. Life is not that way. I mean, for just a very vague example, look at the cobra and the mongoose. The cobra should win, hands down, but he don't. Thinks he should, acts like he should, and he should, but he don't. The mongoose is slick. Well, city governments have set it up so that restaurants and other business owners, to protect them and encourage them to stay there in the city, they have certain rights that they can do to maintain their business the way they want it. And you're subject to those rules, if you want to call them that, or civic duties to make sure that you don't violate. Just like on a city bus. And now that's owned by the city, operated by the city. My mother was a city bus driver for the city of Charlotte many years ago. Now, Charlotte, North Carolina. Anyway, if somebody is strung out really drunk on a bus, it was up to her. It was her call if she wanted to call in and have a squad car meet her at a certain corner and have this person evacuated from her bus into the back seat of that cruiser for public drunkenness or some other such charge. Maybe she asked him to get off the bus and he didn't. I don't know. But I'm just saying, these city laws like that are set up to protect the shop owners and the city employees. That's what they're set up for. And if you get in the middle of that or in the way of it, then you're going to lose. So just keep these things in mind. All right. Now, I've actually covered what I intended to cover. Oh, here's another thing at restaurants. And this goes for whether you're at a meeting, like I was just describing, or whether you're just there eating with another person or a friend, or if you just stopped in by yourself. Pick a place close to the door if you can, if all those spots are not already taken, and back into your parking space. So all you have to do is pull out. The reason you do this is most wrecks in parking lots happen backing up. Well, if you want to keep the cops out of your life, best way is don't back up. So back into your, so you see when you're backing in, you can see a lot better of everything going on around you because you're already there and you're in motion and you're doing it. Now, when you come outside, you don't know who's already got to their car before you did and who's already backing up and who's ready to come up that parking lot and maybe not see you back up. That's one good reason. All right, another thing that you'd like to do about restaurants is, and I learned this from a retired San Diego retired sheriff's deputy who's now my landlord. I learned this from him. And some of you might already know this, especially if you know a cop or you're related to one. Cops always like to sit where they can see the front door. They want to see they want to see who's coming in that door. If somebody's carrying an assault rifle or something, they'll see it before they ever get in the door with it. Things like that. Advance notice is what that is. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. Well, there are other good reasons to do that, to set where you can see who's coming in the front door. Because what if this construction crew, and most of them, they don't look good. I mean, they look like some sleazy dudes in that group. They could be roofers or carpenters or masons. It don't matter. You just don't know. You want to keep an eye on these folks, because if they spot you as transgender, there's going to be some funny talk going on between them. And they may start talking in really weird little languages like this to tease you with it. They may not say nothing to you, but you'll know what they're doing. They're poking fun of you. You know that. So hopefully you'll have your meal pretty well finished by the time these guys come in and get seated and order their food. They won't have time to notice you too much. And then you just slip right on out after you tip the waitress. You just go pay your bill and get out. That would be a very nice thing to do on your part, because I've done it. Now, if it's just one guy that looks like a warmed over zombie, that's one thing. But if there's 5 or 6 construction guys with the hard hat type stuff, it's up to you. You don't want to face that many people knowing what could happen. Really, you don't. You're right there to eat. You're not there to go froggy on everybody and start trying to whoop ass. That's not what you're there for. So just be careful. Watch your own butt, because there's not anybody else watching it for you. I hope this helps you, because that's what this tape is designed to do. And it's 27 minutes, and now I'll cover bathrooms later. Now, you could apply what I say about bathrooms later to this restaurant situation now, but I'm not. It's 27 minutes, and I cut it off at 30 minutes because I don't want to push my time and make people dread watching my tapes because they're too long. 30 minutes is enough. So we can just cut it off at this. It's 28 minutes now. And I'm making some more right away, some more videos, so stay tuned if you want to. I appreciate you watching, and I hope this could save your life. You just don't know. It is a strange world out there, and it's getting stranger. So don't push your envelope. Just live and get through the day and appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye.